Vinay. And then I walk into the room and I see Raf there and I see M there. And M is like the head of people or the head of HR, I guess. So I was like, I literally walked into that room thinking I was gonna get promoted because Raf was sitting in that room and why else would he be there, you know? So I was like, oh yeah, like let's go, like this is my time. I'm finally fucking getting promoted. They finally recognized me for like the work that I was doing. I sit down and Vinay was like, we are terminating you. And then he was like, this is like a termination. We're gonna go through the paperwork. Do you understand what I'm saying? Apparently you have to be like very clear that you're firing someone because there's like legal reasons. I don't fucking know. And I was like, I don't know, in my head I was like, I like know what you just said and I can't help but just think this is so ridiculous. So I was just like, yes, I understand what you're saying. Once Vinay asked me that, Vinay and Raf both left the room because they knew that I understood what was happening. And then M sat next to me and we went through the paperwork together. She was just like, oh yeah, here's like the things that we need to do. I'm just gonna go through them with you. I'm gonna email them to you, blah, 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 blah. Basically the paperwork was just like an arbitration shit, I don't know, agreement that you have to sign saying that you're not gonna like sue for unlawful termination or something. There's another like more papers in regarding like severance, which is just like you get paid amount of money to help you like get on your feet or like go find your next job or fucking, I don't fucking know. It's, you just get severance when you get fired or some shit. But then the severance that I got was like a month of salary. And then Em was saying that like, we did this nice thing for you because we're firing you at the beginning of April. So that means you still get like your benefits because of Cobra or some shit through the end of the month. So you don't have to worry about that. And I'm like, okay, great, thanks, whatever. The weird thing is that what they told me to do, like the next steps, was that they weren't gonna like tell everyone that I got fired, because in cases in the past it was like they had to leave immediately once they were told that they were fired. So then like once that happens, like they just leave, and then the company sends out an email saying like this person had to be let go because of blah 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 reasons, whatever. So they were saying they weren't gonna do that for me because they thought I was like in good standing with people, or fuck, I don't know, they just like made an exception for me. So they were like, you're gonna send out an email, you're gonna like draft it for us, we're gonna like approve it and like read through it together, and then you'll be able to send it. So the email I could like, they're basically like giving me the opportunity to be like, I'm leaving on my own terms in this email, and just say like a goodbye, like generic goodbye email that everyone does when they like leave the company on their own accord. So they were like, you draft the email, we'll go through it together, and then we'll have to approve it to see if you can send it, which I kind of get because you don't want to like rant, burn bridges when you leave, whatever. So I did that, and in that meeting, I explicitly remember that in that email, I wanted to like speak my truth basically, and I was like, I ended up not being a good fit for Lob, and that's what I said in the email. And then I remember Em and Raf being like, oh, I think you should just take out that statement because you don't need to say it. We're literally giving you the chance to like not say that you were fired. And I was like, well, this is kind of what I want to do. Like, I don't want to like pretend like everything's fine. Like, I want to, you know, leave knowing that I was honest with me, like myself and everyone else. And Raf had said that the tech world is actually pretty small, so you don't want to give other people negative impressions of your engineering ability before they've even like given you a chance. So if you can hide that information, you should. And then I was like, I guess that makes sense. So I ended up doing what they did, and I just like sent out a bye email. The only like extremely annoying thing about that meeting though was when I had basically, what's the word, like to give in, to succumb, is that the right word? I don't know, to like, when I gave into a suggestion, I was like, okay, I will take in your feedback and I will do that. And this was maybe like a few days after we had that conversation about me getting fired, or maybe like even the next day, fuck, I don't know. He left the room and said, I'm really surprised at how maturely you're handling the situation. And I could see one person taking that like positively because he's literally giving me a compliment, but it's just like, the fact that you're so shocked that I didn't like throw a temper tantrum, or that I didn't like, yeah, like rage, get angry, or like yell at people, or just like say all this shit. I'm like, do you really think that, like, are you really like not giving me any credit? Like, do you really think I'm that immature, or like that, I don't know, naive? Like, I don't fucking know. It's just like the way that he did it in such a smug way as he was like walking out of the room. I was just like, wow, you really give me no credit. You really think that lowly of me. Like, not only did you have to like fire me on like whatever technical performance, but you really just like don't think I can like handle myself as an adult. Why exactly did I get fired, and why, like, what happened? I think the answer was that like Vinay had like brought up concerns about his reports, like me, saying that I wasn't like technically performing well. And then I think Raf had agreed, and the reason that he agreed was because I was put on PIP, and then he said that I was doing well like with the HTML template gallery project, with the revenue dashboard project, but I like really failed, I guess, during the rendering API thing, which was like literally a week of my life there. And I remember too that like I accidentally like updated like the staging database with one thing, and like I made one small mistake, but it didn't even matter. Oh shit, like, oh, I just like did this thing, oops, like in the moment I was just like, whatever, it's fine. But he like overheard me say that out loud when I thought I was just talking to myself, and I just like played it off as if it was nothing, but because it really was. But in my like perf, he like wrote like, oh yeah, Jessica like makes stupid careless mistakes, like she updated the staging like database thing like once. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is the best feedback that you could come up with? Like, this is the best argument that you could come up with for like firing me? Like, you just happened to be there and saw me do it, and it was like one mistake, like I did it once. And the fact that like things are so manual and like prone to human errors, like that's just a fault of the fucking system entirely, not like, I mean, everyone makes mistakes, and it wasn't even a huge mistake, and I don't know why you had to like ding me or like reprimand me for like something like that. But yeah, the general argument for why I got fired was that I wasn't technically performing to the standard that I should have been, even though I got a 3 on my perf review. And apparently I was talking to Jess later, she was like, yeah, people who get 1s and 2s don't even get fired, and you got a 3 and you got fired, which doesn't make any fucking sense. But yeah, like he thought these things, he brought it up to like the executive leadership team, like ELT, and then that was like it. I think he brought it up that they were gonna fire me. Nobody, I guess, like objected. I don't know how those meetings work, but yeah. And then I remember like I was really, really shocked. I mean, I obviously walked into that room thinking that I was gonna get promoted. Like, how do you literally have like the two opposite, like, I don't understand. Like, how can I literally think that but then end up getting fired? Like, doesn't make any sense, right? Like, something must have fucking gone wrong. I think it was definitely like a hurt to my confidence, and I definitely think that I have some sort of like fucking whatever PTSD from it, because I now like feel like I just like failed. Like, at this point I literally just failed. Like I failed being an engineer when it was like the only thing I tried and I failed. Let's talk about my conversation with Monet. So I remember like we went into like one of the smaller conference rooms, so we were like sitting right next to each other, which was really uncomfortable. And like he's literally like sitting right here, and like it's like one of those little rooms where it's like there's a table and like enough room for 2 chairs. That's like it. And so I remember him being really like uncomfortable. Like, he looked more uncomfortable than I did, and I was like the one getting fired. But I remember him saying like, thank you for your contributions, and he literally shook my hand, and I was like, okay, you're welcome, whatever. Yeah, and that was like the most awkward thing ever. Usually I tell myself like it's only awkward if you make it awkward, or if you let yourself think it's awkward and like continue to make it awkward. But in that case, that was just like awkward. Like, there was nothing I could have done to like fix that situation. He was just so fucking weird and like uncomfortable, and I was like, dude, you don't have to talk to me. Like, we don't have to talk, okay? Like, whatever. Lior, I feel like Lior always thought really highly of me for some reason, not as an engineer, but just like as a person, I guess. Maybe because he likes when people make fun of other people, and like when people are just like always having fun, that he just liked me in that conversation with Leora, I just remember being like, I'm sorry if I let you down, or I'm sorry if I disappointed you, and I'm sorry if I like wasn't a good engineer. And he was like, you really don't have to feel that way. It's fine. I think it just wasn't a good fit, and you'll find another company that's a better fit or whatever. But I think the thing that I remember the most is that he was like, I think you did such a tremendous like thing to this company by like contributing to the culture. He just like thanked me for basically being myself. I don't know. I think he was just really glad that I was able to like make Lob a fun place to work. And I remember telling him too that I was really grateful for the experience, just because I think Lob really did a good job of setting a good foundation for my engineering like abilities, if that makes sense. Like I set a really good and strong foundation here because of all the people that I learned from, and I like truly think that. I think like I worked with some of the smartest people here and like the most competent people here, and I just felt like I really learned a lot. And I knew that anywhere I went next, I'd be like better off if I, you know, didn't have this experience at Lob. So I remember telling Leora that. And then the worst conversation that I had